So Daniel Jones and Bijan Robinson's debut headlined the preseason action for last night. And in today's video, we're just going to talk about it. Like I said, preface this with all preseason videos. It's kind of like a disclaimer. We don't want to take this to swing one way, and we don't want to take a bad performance to swing the other way. But I do want to say, I've been a Daniel Jones truther after what I saw last season, looking at the difference from this season with Brian Dable and Mike Kafka to the previous seasons in which I saw Daniel Jones on the football field, and everyone's saying, whoa, be patient. Daniel Jones is not that guy. And I'm saying, I look at last night, and you don't want to take it and run with it, but you do want to try to confirm some of the things in which you saw. I have to analyze what I'm looking at. I can't look at it and pretend that I don't see it. And I think the question with the New York Giants is now that, okay, you have Saquon Barkley. Okay, you drafted John Michael-Smith. Okay, you got Andrew Thomas, all-pro. Okay, you got Evan Neal. Okay, you got Mark Glowinski. You got some of these guys, and it's looking like you're putting it together. You got about 6 to 7 receivers. Some of them are really all the same type athletic profile, slot archetype receivers. But is Daniel Jones, without a quote-unquote number one receiver, going to be able to get it done? Can he elevate these guys? And I really love Hodgins, but we come to the conclusion that he's not a true elite number one. Now, when I say that, I also want to say Darren Waller. The question with Darren Waller is that he could be a top 3 tight end in football, but he has to stay healthy. Can, at this point in his career, he's past the age of 30, can he be a number one receiver, a focal point of an offensive scheme? Kind of like what we see with Travis Kelce. And I'm not here for the comparisons, but I just want to say, seeing that it can work in the NFL with a tight end being the number one receiving threat. So now you're drawing coverage to the middle of the field, and you're getting more one-on-one opportunities for a guy like Paris Campbell, for a guy like Darius Slayton. Sterling Shepard got on the football field, and Jalen Hyatt. Like I said before when talking about the Giants, I got the luxury of being able to see Jalen Hyatt play in person. The speed is contagious. And I mean, Tyrod Taylor, his running back, got him killed on the play. On the play that he hit him in the right side of the end zone, his running back got him lit up. But Tyrod Taylor was still able to get an accurate enough football, put enough air under it, and got it to Jalen Hyatt. Now, we're going to have to wonder how many safeties and teams will put one-on-one with Jalen Hyatt. I think that is a preseason thing. I don't think when the regular season comes that'll be by scheme. I'm not putting my safety one-on-one with Jalen Hyatt. I would never, ever try to do that. But Eric Rowe found himself in that position, gave up too much cushion, and next thing you know, Jalen Hyatt, he was doing some weird type of celebration. But hey, you got your touchdown, you can do whatever you want. So that's what I saw out of that team. And really, Eric Gray has some explosive runs, and I see that they're using him as a returner as well. So that's some type of things that add value to you. Because, of course, you got Saquon, you got Matt Breida. So now add some more value than just being a pure running back. I think he's showing and that he can do that. But Daniel Jones, back to the topic of discussion, had a great showing, a great night. Now, conversely, going over to the team across from them, the guys who they played, the Carolina Panthers, I'm seeing the offensive line struggles, and it was better. It was better than the week 1 against the New York Jets. It was definitely better because that was a turnstile everywhere you look. And looking at the guys, even with some of the big-time names playing in this game, I did not see it. I still didn't see it because I think when you have Kayvon Thibodeau on the defensive side of the ball, he gets a sack, then he gets a pressure to exact next play, and then you have the holding call, which gets it back. Now, I'm very excited for the Carolina Panthers, I do want to say. I think that Bryce Young still looked good, despite the odds, despite some of the pressure, despite some of the receivers not separating to how you would think they would at this point. I really like the play by Jonathan Mingo, showing how physical he is. We've all talked about Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers, but I still need to see some improvement along the offensive line. And a lot of people want to say it's preseason, but I mean, what does it take to really block a guy? Does it take it being regular season with stakes on the line? Your quarterback is out there. Your quarterback won. The guy who's 5'10", a little over 200 pounds, who's the first overall pick in the draft, he's out there. I don't care if it's preseason training camp or OTAs. You have to protect that asset. You spent a lot to get him. You gave up DJ Moore. You gave up the 9th overall pick. You gave up extra things. You gave up next year's pick. You have to protect him no matter what. So I'm not buying the preseason bid when we talk about the offensive line struggles for the Carolina Panthers. But stylistically, I think they have an all-star coaching staff. I look at all the guys they brought in with Frank Reich, and a lot of people are trying to bash Frank Reich. He's going to get it done. I saw some of what he did in Indianapolis, and he had it going there. Now, I think his voice ran a bit old in the room and things happened, and then he got out of there, and some of the quarterbacks that he brought in, they just wanted a new system and a new voice. But I'm still a big fan of Frank Reich, and I believe in what he can do for this team. So I'm looking at that and thinking that I'm not too worried, but I do want to talk about some of the struggles they are having to this point. Defensively, I think it'll be a good defense. Now, they're going to have to answer the bid when the season starts, because I looked at Zach Wilson in that first drive, drove the ball. I look at Daniel Jones in that first drive, exceptional. So that's one thing I will say for the opponent, but I still like some of the things from the Carolina Panthers. They're a younger team offensively, and I think that on the defensive side of the ball, they still have to put some things together. Terrace Marshall Jr. will be a big piece when he gets out there for that receiving core, so one thing we want to look at. Now, getting into Bijan Robinson, though, like I said, with his debut, I think that even though he had 4 rushes, 20 yards, he still looked pretty solid. Seeing some of his explosiveness and everything that he was able to do, that he could do for the team, had a catch. Now, the question is, I think that for me, at least, is Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson? I think that's the question we all are asking right now. Who's going to be the guy? They're in the same conference. Who's going to be the offensive rookie of the year for the NFC? It's a very interesting debate to have, but I think that with Arthur Smith, with a team that was second in rushing attempts last year, even though you got Tyler Algier, and it's kind of that fantasy conversation when you say who's going to have more production, who's going to have more stats. It gets kind of tricky, because I look at Cordell Patterson. He can still get some carries out of the backfield. Even though he can do things in the receiving game, Bijan can also do things in the receiving game. So you have to wonder, what will be the personnel packages? How will they use these guys? How will Bijan and Tyler Algier hit the football field at the same time? But I still think Bijan's going to be that guy. I see him breaking 1,000. I don't see it being a problem. Even on his first carry, the play that went viral, everyone was talking about, it was just an explosive run. And we see the jump cut. How he can jump cut and get back north-south so quickly. That's one thing that you see from Bijan. And laterally, his movements are special. Some of the best we've ever seen in football. I'm saying this is a rookie. Chris Johnson even alluded to it in a film breakdown when talking about Bijan Robinson. So I know he's going to be a guy. And really talking about some of the people beside him, Desmond Ridder had a pretty solid outing. Now, like I said, I think that when we got in the red zone, I wanted to see a little more from Desmond Ridder. Now, they had the holding call. They had some other things. Scotty Miller bobbled the pass, turned into the interception. So you probably see Desmond Ridder with the pick, and you say, okay, why is he throwing picks in preseason? But the pass was bobbled. Then they picked it off like that. And I think that he did drive the ball down the field. Now, Mac Hollins, I told you he will be a guy for the Atlanta Falcons. Drake London, my year 2 sleepers for receivers in all positions of football. I think he'll be a guy who takes that leap in year 2. Watching the film on him in year 1, I talked about that connection. It seems to be something really there with Desmond Ridder and Drake London. Now, Kyle Pitts got involved. He did not have a big-time game. It was only a drive, but he still got involved, so you love to see that. And I think they're continuing to work. Kadarius Hodge making some catches. They're continuing to work, but Bijan will be a focal point. 8th overall pick in the draft, and of course, you don't want to tell your hat right now. You don't want to give teams the reason to say, okay, this is what they're going to do. We're giving them film to game plan us week 1. We're not doing that. So like I said, with a lot of teams running generic baseline plays that they've learned in training camp, some of the day 1 installs, that's what we're seeing right now. And talent is really on the rise. Talent is going to shine in something like this, because it's not the best scheme. It's not me saying, okay, I know you got Darren Waller. Let me double team him here. Let me get some of your other guys in different looks. Okay, I know you got Bijan Robinson. Let me stack the box, but I'm not putting Drake London and Kyle Pitts one-on-one. So how am I going to do that? It's too much for thinking in the preseason. Of course, you want to play fast. You want to keep these guys healthy. But that's some of the biggest things that I saw from preseason last night, Friday. Now, it's Saturday right now as I record this video, 9 a.m. We got a lot of games going on today, and we will be back with more breakdowns. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear some of the best takes and best news about the games that you're going to watch and see today. Thank you for watching. As always, that's going to do it for today's show. And now, we out.